Hey there, fellow travelers. Welcome to Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance and home to some of the world's most incredible art and architecture. In the next 10 minutes, we'll take you on a whirlwind tour of Florence's absolute must-see attractions. Let's dive in. 1. The Duomo. Our first stop is Florence's crown jewel, the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, better known as the Duomo. This architectural marvel is the heart of Florence, both geographically and spiritually. Let's start with the facade. The cathedral's exterior is a stunning mix of pink, white, and green marble, creating an intricate pattern that's uniquely Florentine. The level of detail is mind-boggling. Take a moment to appreciate the statues, mosaics, and reliefs adorning the wall's zero. But the real star of the show is Brunelleschi's dome. Completed in 1436, it was an engineering feat that changed architecture forever. At 114 meters high and 45 meters wide, it remains the largest brick dome ever constructed. But here's the kicker. Brunelleschi built it without traditional scaffolding. Instead, he invented new machines and techniques to complete this seemingly impossible task. Now, if you're up for a bit of exercise, we highly recommend climbing to the top of the dome. It's 463 steps, but trust me, the view is worth every single one. As you ascend, you'll get an up-close look at Giorgio Vasari's frescoes of the Last Judgment that cover the interior of the dome. Once you reach the top, you're rewarded with a breathtaking 360-degree view of Florence. It's the perfect way to orient yourself in the city and appreciate its Renaissance layout. On a clear day, you can see all the way to the Tuscan hills. Don't forget about the other parts of the cathedral complex. The separate baptistry is famous for its gilded bronze doors, dubbed the Gates of Paradise by Michelangelo. And Giotto's Bell Tower offers another climbing opportunity with equally stunning views. Pro tip: book your tickets online in advance. The Duomo complex gets incredibly busy, especially in peak season. By booking ahead, you can reserve a specific time slot to climb the dome, saving you hours of queuing. Also, consider getting the OPA pass, which gives you access to all parts of the complex over 72 hours. Remember, the Duomo isn't just a tourist attraction, it's a functioning church. Dress modestly with shoulders and knees covered, and be respectful of those who may be there to worship. 2. Uffizi Gallery. Our next stop is the Uffizi Gallery, a treasure trove of Renaissance art that's considered one of the most important museums in the world. The Uffizi wasn't originally built as a museum. It was commissioned in 1560 by Cosimo I de' Medici as offices for Florentine magistrates. Uffizi actually means offices in Italian. Over time, the Medici family filled it with their art collection, and it was eventually opened to the public in 1765. As you enter, take a moment to appreciate the building itself. The long hallway with its frescoed ceilings and the views of the Arno River from the windows are works of art in their own right. Now let's talk about the collection. The Uffizi houses some of the most famous paintings in the world. You'll find works by Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Titian, Caravaggio, and many more. Some must-see pieces include Botticelli's Birth of Venus and Primavera. These iconic paintings are probably the most famous in the museum. Leonardo da Vinci's Annunciation, one of his earliest surviving paintings. Michelangelo's Doni Tondo, the only finished panel painting by the artist that survives. Titian's Venus of Urbino, a masterpiece of high Renaissance art. The museum is organized chronologically, allowing you to trace the development of Renaissance art. Start on the top floor with 13th and 14th century works, then move down to see how painting styles evolved. Given the vastness of the collection, it's impossible to see everything in one visit. We recommend planning your route based on your interests or following one of the themed itineraries suggested by the museum. Pro tip: like the Duomo, booking in advance is crucial here. The lines can be incredibly long, especially in summer. Also, consider visiting later in the day when it's less crowded. The museum is open until 6:30 p.m. most days, with extended hours on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Lastly, don't rush. Take your time to really look at the paintings. The details and stories within each work are what make the Uffizi truly special. 3. Ponte Vecchio. We're now heading to the Ponte Vecchio, Florence's oldest and most iconic bridge spanning the Arno River. Built in 1345, this medieval stone bridge has a rich history and unique charm that sets it apart from any other bridge you've seen. The Ponte Vecchio is famous for the shops built along its edges. Originally, these housed butchers and tanners, but since the 16th century, they've been occupied by jewelers and goldsmiths. This creates a dazzling display as you walk across. Above the shops runs the Vasari Corridor, a private elevated passageway built for the Medici family to cross from the Uffizi to the Pitti Palace without mixing with commoners. Fun fact, the Ponte Vecchio was the only bridge in Florence not destroyed by the Germans during their retreat in World War II. Legend has it that Hitler himself ordered it to be spared. For the best views of the bridge, head to the Ponte Santa Trinita just west of it. This vantage point is perfect for those postcard-worthy photos, especially at sunset when the bridge is beautifully illuminated. 4. Galleria dell'Accademia. Our next stop takes us to the Galleria dell'Accademia, home to arguably the world's most famous sculpture, Michelangelo's David. As you enter the gallery, you'll walk down a hallway lined with Michelangelo's unfinished prisoner sculptures, seeming to struggle to break free from their marble blocks. These lead you to the museum's centerpiece, the David. Standing at an impressive 17 feet tall, the David is a masterpiece of Renaissance sculpture. Michelangelo carved it from a single block of marble between 1501 and 1504 when he was just 26 years old. Take your time to walk around the statue and admire it from different angles. While the David is undoubtedly the star, don't miss the museum's other treasures. These include beautiful Renaissance paintings, ancient musical instruments, and more works by Michelangelo. Again, booking in advance is highly recommended to avoid long wait times. 5. Palazzo Vecchio. We're now heading to the Palazzo Vecchio, or Old Palace, which has been at the heart of Florence's civic life for centuries. This imposing fortress palace, with its crenellated walls and soaring tower, dominates the Piazza della Signoria. Built in the early 14th century, it initially served as the seat of the Florentine Republic and later became the residence of the Medici family. Today, it's still Florence's town hall and a museum. Inside, you'll find a wealth of Renaissance art and architecture. The highlight is the Salone dei Cinquecento, a massive hall decorated with frescoes by Vasari. Look out for the secret passages and hidden rooms throughout the palace. They add an element of intrigue to your visit. Don't miss the opportunity to climb the tower, known as the Torre d'Arnolfo. The 418-step climb rewards you with panoramic views of Florence that rival those from the Duomo. 6. Boboli Gardens. Now let's take a break from the bustling city and step into the tranquil Boboli Gardens. Located behind the Pitti Palace, this vast green space is one of the finest examples of Italian-styled gardens in the world. Created in the 16th century for the Medici family, the gardens span 45 hectares and are filled with Renaissance statues, fountains, and grottos. The Boboli Gardens actually served as inspiration for many European royal gardens, including Versailles. As you wander through, don't miss the amphitheater, the Fountain of Neptune, and the Grotta del Buontalenti with its peculiar sculptures. The Via Alone, a long cypress-lined avenue, offers beautiful vistas of Florence. The gardens are perfect for a leisurely stroll or a picnic. They also provide a welcome respite from the summer heat, so consider timing your visit during the warmer part of the day. 7. Santa Croce. Our final stop is the Basilica of Santa Croce, often called the Temple of Italian Glories, due to the many famous Italians buried here. This Gothic church, with its striking green and white marble facade, was founded in 1294 by the Franciscans. Inside, you'll find the tombs of some of Italy's most illustrious figures, including Michelangelo, Galileo, Machiavelli, and Rossini. Beyond the tombs, Santa Croce houses important works of art. Look for Giotto's frescoes in the Bardi and Peruzzi chapels, and Donatello's famous Annunciation relief. Don't miss the Pazzi Chapel in the first cloister, considered a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture designed by Brunelleschi. The church also has a fascinating leather workshop where you can watch artisans at work and perhaps pick up a unique souvenir. And there you have it, fellow travelers, a whirlwind tour of Florence's most iconic sites. From the awe-inspiring Duomo to the masterpieces of the Uffizi and Accademia, From the historic Ponte Vecchio to the serene Goboli Gardens, Florence truly offers a feast for the senses. But remember, the real magic of Florence lies not just in these famous landmarks, but in the city itself. Take time to wander the narrow medieval streets, savor the local cuisine in a family-run trattoria, and sip espresso in a centuries-old piazza. Florence is a city that rewards those who linger and explore. So while this guide covers the must-sees, don't be afraid to venture off the beaten path. Discover your own favorite corners of this Renaissance.